to Straight Up Paleo, where we talk all things nutrition straight up. I'm one of your hosts, Christina Rice. I'm a holistic health coach and a nutritional therapy practitioner in training currently living in Los Angeles. I'm also the creator of the health and wellness blog addictedtolovely.com and the host of the Actually Adultish podcast.
And I'm your other host, Kara Halderman. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner from Dallas, Texas, creator of careaboutit.com, and co-host of the Low Carb Conversations podcast. In this podcast, we will be discussing all things paleo, health, and nutrition, along with answering questions straight from you.
If you want to submit a question for us to answer on the podcast, head to straightuppaleo.com or email us at straightuppaleo@gmail.com.
Remember our disclaimer. The materials in this podcast are only to be used for advice and are not to be used in place of general medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
If you want to support the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a rating and a review on iTunes. Enjoy the show! Hey, Kara.
Hi. What's up?
Hey. How are you, poor little sick duckling?
I'm okay. I'm on day, 3 of flu recovery. So that's why I sound a little rough, and that's why maybe I'll be a little slow on today's podcast because my brain is not up to full capacity. On Saturday, I don't even know when this happened. Like Friday, no, I've kept a really good, positive attitude about the flu and being sick and all that stuff this whole time throughout flu season because, we're, bombarded with messages that the flu is coming, everyone prepare, you're going to get sick, all this stuff. And I'm just in, no, I'm going to be healthy. I'm the healthiest I've ever been, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden on Friday, I woke up with, a super sore throat, and I just had a gut feeling. And I was like, oh, no, this is it. I'm done. But I tried to stay positive the whole entire day, and then I woke up on Saturday, just completely dead, basically dead. So it was, it sucked. I guess a positive mindset can't always save you from the flu.
No, sometimes it just happens, but at least you can just rest. You didn't have to cancel anything huge, right?
No, I couldn't go to actual work.
Yeah.
Which sucks because, it only sucks because I feel like your boss is, mad at you all the time. I know she's not actually mad at you, but whenever you tell your boss you're, sick, that it's burdening, other people because I have to cover for you, cover your shifts, which, I don't know. I'm not the type of person where I just want people to, cover my shifts. I always feel bad. But whatever. I can't survive at work. I would be endangering other people, so not a good idea.
You need the doTERRA power pack. You need the On Guard and oregano oil with the veggie caps. That's what I do every time I think I'm going to get sick, and I swear it kills it.
I took, the first day on Friday where I noticed I had a really sore throat, I took a bunch of oregano oil. I pretty much just loaded up on all of the supplements that I had, and I don't know if that kicked my immune system into hyperdrive, and that's what actually got me sick. That's what I was talking with my parents about, and that's what they think happens because I don't know, when you take a bunch of immune stimulating stuff, it can stimulate your immune system and it'll go and attack the infections that's in there, and that's why fever happens because it is a defense mechanism brought on by your body to attack infection. So, sometimes stimulating your immune system can initiate a fever, which means that you're fighting the infection. So I don't know if I just did too much and it just happened overnight and I basically combusted, but whatever. Now I'm pissed because I'm taking Tamiflu, and I just went down the research rabbit hole for Tamiflu for 3 hours last night because I have nothing else to do, and it was not a fun research rabbit hole. That's all I have to say.
Do you have anything to share?
Well, I was specifically researching Tamiflu and autoimmunity because I wanted to know if people with like autoimmune conditions were having bad responses to Tamiflu, because I don't have a confirmed autoimmune condition, but autoimmunity runs in my family, and I have had some symptoms of autoimmunity, and it's just not a confirmed thing. So I was curious. And it does seem that people, which is what I found fascinating, was it was one of the only age groups that had really bad symptoms from Tamiflu, and that had autoimmune conditions, were between the ages of 20 and 29, which was really interesting. Like, literally only that age group showed severe symptoms from Tamiflu. I don't know what that's from, but I couldn't really find a whole lot because, I don't know, there's just not a lot of research on it. I guess there's only like census type studies about who experienced terrible symptoms from it and who didn't, but there's not a lot of studies. And I came across an article by like Dr. Mercola, I guess, basically denouncing Tamiflu because I guess there was, I guess people were like paid off. There were ghostwriters to write positive things about Tamiflu. Something like that. I read his article. I don't know. It was weird. I couldn't read it all because it was too long and my brain couldn't handle it.
Mm.
But I didn't really get any clear answers at all. But then I just started researching more about Tamiflu and like side effects of Tamiflu. And then I got down a rabbit hole of like people that experienced terrible, terrible things from taking Tamiflu, and it scared the crap out of me. I haven't really experienced anything too terrible except for the fact that it hurts my stomach so bad, which is kind of terrible, but like I'm so nauseous every time I take it. So, I don't know. I hate it. It's annoying.
I hope you feel better soon. That's why whenever I'm taking something,
Sorry.
I don't look it up on the internet like until after. Like, while I'm taking something or doing something, I'll never look it up. Like, I remember when I was doing laser on my face, and if you look up all the lasers, they just show you all these horror stories of people whose faces just get destroyed.
Oh, my God.
For that experience, and then it makes you afraid of everything. Because think about it, the only people who are writing on the internet are people who have bad experiences.
It's so true. It's like Yelp.
Yeah, so it's very interesting what's out there. So, but I hope you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thanks. I really hope I feel better too because I want to get back to work. And I'm just like so mad because I set this deadline for myself. We were talking about how we both have stuff to get done by March 1st, and we're like working hard to get it all done. And I'm just upset because I don't even know if I'm going to be able to make my own deadline because I'm so far behind. And you're freaking out about your own stuff too. So we're over here like, what the heck? And being sick does not help. And I also want to go back to work. And I bought concert tickets for Friday. And I'm like, am I even going to be able to go to that? So whatever. But I'm getting over it.
Well, hopefully you can go. So,
what have you been doing?
not eating.
Not eating?
I just came off of a fast.
Cool. How'd it go?
It was very interesting. It went well, honestly. Like, I honestly could have gone 48 hours. I did 36, and then I ate. I feel a little weird now because I just ate. But yeah, I think the hardest part, I mean, I was freezing. That was the hardest part for me. There was like a time period during the day where I was like hungry and I wanted food. And then after that passed, it was like after the first like 10 hours, I would say. I was like, I'm hungry, I want food. And then that kind of passed. And I think that was also mental because I was seeing other photos of food. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that looks good, right? But then that passed and I just wasn't really hungry anymore. And I slept really, really well last night. And I was just exhausted yesterday all around. So I don't know if that was because I was fasting or if it was because I was just tired. Because this past week has been really a lot went on. And I was very stressed out. But yeah, I feel like my gut feels a lot better. I feel like my inflammation went down. I didn't realize how swollen my hands had been.
Really?
Interesting.
Your
Yeah.
hands?
I didn't realize how swollen my hands were because I was looking at my knuckles this morning, and like I didn't realize like how swollen they were. So I feel like my inflammation went down, but my gut feels a lot better, and I'm curious to see how this affects my appetite, if it resets my leptin. If it, I don't know. So we'll see. But it was much easier than I guess I don't know really what I expected.
See, I knew you could do it. You were like scared. We talked about it for a while and you're like, I just can't not eat.
I just love food.
I know.
I enjoy food, but I mean, I think I knew, I mean, cause it's like, I'm not ever hungry in between meals. Like,
yeah.
It's really weird. So to me, it wasn't like a hunger thing. It was more just like, I like eating.
Yeah. It's like a mental thing. It's a mental pleasure of just wanting to eat. That's literally how I am.
And honestly, I would have extended it out if I didn't have so much food that's like about to go bad. Like I have a lot of protein that is like gonna go bad, and I was like, I need to start eating it so it doesn't. But yeah, it was just definitely a good experience, I think. I'm not going to be fasting often, but I wanted to do it once just to sort of reset and see what happened. But yeah, I think the coldness was something I was not expecting, and I'm still a little chilly. So hopefully my body temp heats back up.
It will.
But
you got food back in your system. So were you like moving or going on walks while you were fasted?
I went on one walk, but like not very long. I spent most of the day just sitting because yesterday I just had so much work to do. So wasn't even standing like I usually do. I was just sitting on my bed pretty much. And I went on one walk, and then just like when I was moving during the day to do random things, but I was pretty not really active.
Yeah.
But
I just don't understand how people do fasts and do full on workouts,
honestly, I feel like I could have.
Really?
Like I didn't like this morning I woke up and I felt like I kind of forgot that I had fasted yesterday because my routine is just Monday morning I wake up and I work out. And that was kind of my instinct. And I felt like I was like imagining in my head, I was like, would I have enough energy for this? And I felt like I definitely did, which was interesting.
That is interesting. Maybe try it next time.
Maybe next time.
See how that goes.
Yeah, no, but I mean, have we done a fasting episode?
I think we've briefly touched on it. And I think people may have gotten this idea that we're kind of like anti-fasting in a way.
This is the thing with fasting. I think that I'm anti-fasting for most of the population who's listening to this, just because I know most of the population who's listening to this. And I also am generally anti-fasting for myself, but fasting, you have to understand, is a tool. It's a therapeutic tool. I think people can run into issues when they don't know what they're doing, when they're doing it irresponsibly.
It's like fasting for the wrong reasons. That's mainly why. That's mainly why we're against fasting, is because most people are doing it for the wrong reasons, either to lose weight, like they'll say they're doing it for health, but really they're doing it because they want to see if they can drop like the last 10 pounds or anything to like move the scale. But really, fasting should be a health tool and not necessarily a weight tool if you don't have like a whole bunch of weight to lose.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why. And also you see people who just become obsessed with it and are doing it way too often, and that's depending for their bodies. Everybody's different how frequently they can do it. But, if you are hormonally damaged, you need to take that into account. And I think that if you have hormonal issues, you shouldn't be toying with it until you get those in check, unless there's something bigger going on. So for me, like, Kara and I have been talking about this, and I've been talking to other people, and this actually was FMD approved. So I'm not just running around,
FMD approved.
Got other input, right? And I just felt like my gut really needed a reset right now, and my leptin. So I'm just going to see how this affects things. And I'm not planning on like doing this every week or whatever. I wanted to try it out.
Yeah. But it's not like you had a super terrible experience with it either. Like, you were okay.
Yeah,
That's the other thing.
the thing. It's like if I had, because I was kind of debating if I wanted to do like 20 to 24 hours or pull through 36. And last night, I was like in the heads, I was like, if I get hungry, I'm just going to eat and break it after 20, 24 hours. But I was not hungry. So I just slept. And then in my head, I was like, if I wake up hungry in the middle of the night, I'll just eat,
Yeah.
But I didn't, I slept so long and so soundly and so deeply. And then I woke up and I still wasn't hungry. So I felt like it was fine. If I had gotten hungry, I would have just eaten.
Yeah.
I'm going to push it. So.
Exactly. It's not like life or death. Like, you can always eat. If ish hits the fan, you can always eat food.
I also think that people don't talk about sort of the other downside of fasting too often. I see people who go really extreme with this and they fasting all the time. And it's the same thing as people who cut their calories. Like, if you're fasting too much, it's the same thing as cutting your calories too often, which downregulates your metabolism. And once you downregulate your metabolism, you're stuck with that caloric intake. So for someone, if you like eating like me, like I like to keep my calories as high as possible, to be honest. Like I like to eat a lot of food. And so I don't want to downregulate my metabolism. So if you're doing it too regularly and then you have so that your body is running off of X amount of calories and it thinks that's normal, then as soon as you increase it to a normal caloric intake, you're going to put on weight.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're saying like that intermittent fasting is not good for women to do all the time or every single day, because most women naturally, when they intermittent fast, they just cut down their calories. Like, it's just natural because they're not hungry. But most functional medicine doctors, and it's becoming more widely talked about, that you need to be eating the same amount of calories that you would on a normal day or more, or even try to increase your calories, even if your feeding window is only like 8 hours out of your day or even 6 hours out of your day, you still somehow need to fit X amount of calories that you were previously into that same day. And some people find that like so hard to do because you only have 8 to 6 hours to eat, but you still need to do it. And that is what's going to contribute to you down regulating your metabolism. If you're not consistently feeding your body with that same amount of food, if you're just over time constantly like getting smaller and smaller and smaller portions, that's what's going to lead to you down regulating your metabolism.
Agreed. I also am of the opinion that if you have hormonal issues and you're a female, I still wouldn't be intermittent fasting every day.
Oh no. Well, intermittent fasting for women, it naturally raises estrogen levels. So if you have any sort of estrogen issue going on, it may or may not be a good tool for you. But
and cortisol.
Yeah, and cortisol, but that too. There's a lot of hormonal stuff going on, but I know for me personally, I don't really want to raise my estrogen levels. I have a little bit of estrogen dominance going on, so I don't need to do that. So I don't want to intermittent fast regularly. And it just doesn't feel good for me. I'm too hungry. I can't.
Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Like, men respond so much differently than women to this sort of thing. They are not as hormonally complex. Sorry, just going to say it. We're more sensitive. We're more sensitive to cortisol and stressors. So don't compare yourself to the men. They can do a lot more. But whatever. We're cool. Okay. Well, that's the fasting update, basically. So should we just hop into questions? Or actually, no, wait. You know what we have to talk about?
Well, we have to talk about how literally my life has sucked the past 3 days because I can't breathe through my nose and I can't use my SomniFix.
Oh my God.
I'm pissed. That would have made my sleeping so much better while I've been sick.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry because I can't live without it. I am obsessed with it. And I posted it to Instagram the other day and everybody was like, their response was hilarious. And I had some people freaking out.
What were they saying?
so scary. Why would you do that? And I was like, how is it scary? It's literally a piece of, okay, you guys, you have to understand, it doesn't like glue your mouth shut. It's very easy. Like if you open your mouth, it'll pop off.
Yeah,
like
literally, it'll just pop off.
Yeah, it's very, and there's a vent in the front so that you can literally, like, I can kind of breathe. Like if I want to breathe, like I'll just breathe through it.
I mean, I've definitely caught myself breathing through it before, so it's not like you're going to suffocate.
Yeah, and then somebody said, why would I buy this when I can just get medical tape from the doctor? And I was like, well, you could, but it won't have that vent, and it's also not the right size, and it also, medical tape does, like,
it does hurt.
Yeah, it does hurt. And that's what I said to the person who commented that, and he goes, no, it doesn't hurt. And I was like, okay, fine, well, it hurts me when I've put it on my arm before, so I don't really want to put it on my face and rip off my face hair.
I mean, think about how sensitive, like, the skin on your face is compared to other parts of your body, like your arm or your leg. Like, your face skin is so much more delicate and sensitive and has little tiny hairs, and if you put even medical tape or just a normal piece of tape on your mouth, it is going to hurt when you rip it off. But that's why SomniFix was made and designed to have more of like a hypoallergenic adhesive to it, and it comes off really smoothly and has never like ripped hair off of my mouth before, never hurt. So I love it and I enjoy using it. I'm just mad that I haven't been able to use it. But what else have people said about it on your picture?
A lot of people were commenting, they go, oh, like they would tag someone and say, oh, you need this. Oh, you need this. Do you think this works? Haha, like they're making a joke out of it. But it's funny because whenever, just in general health trends, you know, there's always that population of people who you can tell are interested in it. And instead of expressing genuine interest, like, oh, that's cool, they try and make fun of it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah. You never experienced this, like when you ate healthy?
Maybe. I just haven't in a while, I guess.
Yes, maybe not because your like parents eat healthier, but like a lot of my friends would just make fun of food I would eat.
Oh.
You know, like, that's so weird. Like, I can't believe you're eating that. They like make fun of it. And then the next day I'd see them eating something similar.
Oh, well, yeah, I've definitely experienced that, but it hasn't been in a while. It's been a while. For
yes,
sure.
Talking about. So I can tell that it's like, and in my head I'm like cracking out because I think I can tell you want to try it. You're just trying to act like you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the response has been really cool. And then a lot of people were commenting saying, oh my gosh, I've been trying this and it's seriously changed my life. Can't believe it, blah, blah, blah. So I am loving the response and how many of you are testing it out, and give yourself some time to acclimate in case you take it off while you're sleeping. Sometimes while you're asleep, your body's just not used to something being on your face, but then you get used to it and it's a game changer. So if you like, also I was putting it on the other day just because I was stressed out during the day, just to like force myself to breathe through my nose.
Yep, it really works.
It really helped calm me down.
Yeah.
Honestly. I couldn't drink any water, but it helped focus my breathing. So, you know, I think also if you have a hard time getting into meditation or a hard time just calming down and taking deep breaths and forcing yourself to do that, like if you are very high strung and type A and, you know, this could be a great way to sort of force yourself to breathe.
Chill out.
To chill out.
It's a total biohacker type move.
Yeah.
Which is super awesome.
So many like people in the health and wellness space, like big people starting to find out about it. And I just feel like so cool.
I know. Because we've been doing this since day one. Well, maybe not day one, but.
So told us, and then we copied Mike Mutzel, and yeah.
And here it is.
Here it is. So if you guys haven't tried out SomniFix, it's incredible mouth taping strip, hypoallergenic, has a little vent in the front. You just put it on before you go to sleep. Helps you sleep soundly because you're breathing through your nose instead of your mouth. We are not supposed to be breathing through our mouths, but nowadays we tend to. And when you breathe through your mouth, you can snore, drool, have dry mouth. It affects your immunity. It can make you wake up in the middle of the night, I learned. So it's all about the nose breathing. This mouth tape is amazing. So you can get it by going to somnifix.com. and pressing buy, and it'll link you to Amazon, or you can go straight to Amazon and buy it from there. But use the coupon code SUPSLEEP, SUPSLEEP, all caps, for 10% off.
Sweet. Okay, you guys, go buy some SomniFix and then post about it and then tag us because we would love to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-gram you. Cool. Any other updates?
No, really, no other updates from me. Even if there was, I probably couldn't remember right now because my brain is cloudy. But let's just get into the questions.
Okay, let's do it. The first one is from Carson. Well, she has a few, so we'll start off with her first one. What health tests, in your opinion, are most important to get? I would love to know what foods I'm sensitive to, but I have no idea where to go about that. Also, I don't want to spend a whole lot of money. My question is, which test should I prioritize, and is it worth it?
So yeah, loaded question, honestly.
Good question.
It's a loaded question because, once again, this question depends on what you're dealing with, to be honest. Just totally depends on what symptoms you're dealing with, what conditions you may or may not have, whatever, what type of doctor you're working with, if you want to do this on your own, or if you do want to work with someone alongside of you. I pretty much always recommend that somebody gets some sort of stool analysis, like gut panel done, because it seems like everyone is dealing with digestive issues. And if you already suspect that you have food sensitivities, I think we've talked about this before, like getting a food sensitivity test can be really great information. And we've talked about like which tests not to get before. So go back to those episodes and kind of listen to that. But I think even like before you get a food sensitivity test, you need to get a gut panel done because you need to see what is at the root cause of the food sensitivities. Is there infection? Is there some sort of leaky gut going on? Is there inflammation? You need to know what's happening. And there's a lot of different stool tests out there, and a lot of different doctors give out different tests. The one that I got, I'll just tell you the one that I got. It's called the GI map, and that's the one that I got. And I liked it. I haven't really experimented with any others. I know Christina has, so maybe she can speak more about that. But the GI map was really informative, and even if your doctor that you're working with doesn't explain a lot about it, honestly, like I could find a lot of information about my results online, and I could even do a lot of my own interpretation from it as well. But my number one recommendation is to get some sort of stool analysis that will tell you like a comprehensive bacterial, parasite, and like virus type of scale to see if there's any type of infection going on there, and candida, all of that. And it also gives you some inflammation markers as well and a couple other things, but most stool analysis will be the same and give you all of the same stuff unless you get a more comprehensive one. I know, Christina, you've had like a lot of different stool analysis done, so you could speak to that. But that's my number one, and then probably another type of saliva hormone test as well. If you suspect that there is any adrenal issues or female hormone issues going on, or even male hormone issues, a saliva test, and make sure that it's either a 3-point or a 6-point saliva hormone test, meaning you're taking saliva samples for 3 to 6 time periods throughout the day, so you're seeing the full progression of your hormones throughout the day and not just like one spot throughout the day, because that doesn't give you the full picture. Like a blood test can be okay-ish for showing you your hormones, but it's not really the best because you're not seeing the full picture of how it is throughout the whole entire day. And your hormones may, in that very instant, just be responding to like something you did last night, or what you ate for breakfast, or the workout you just did, or whatever. Like, it's not showing you the full picture. So those are my main two before you would even go on to a food sensitivity test, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, I think, first of all, before I get into, what about just a basic, like a blood panel? Like testing thyroid, testing fasting blood glucose, your A1C, vitamin D levels, you know, like I think people should get just like a basic blood panel.
Oh, for sure. I totally forgot about that. I'm actually getting that done because, you know, which is weird because I've actually never even gotten a basic blood panel done. I've had all these like weird functional medicine tests done, but I've never gotten a basic blood panel done. And I think that's like super important because it's covering all of the bases. And even if you hear us talking about like cholesterol levels are actually a good indicator as well. I know that they're kind of skewed and like messed up on what we think in the holistic world and what they think in like the Western world. We have different opinions, but that can also be a really another good indicator of inflammation and things like homocysteine and like C-reactive protein levels, just like basic, and like seeing where your friggin' vitamin D levels stand. Like those can all be super important.
Yeah. I think it's really good to get that basic. There are such in-depth tests that you can get run, and they cost a lot of money. And I think depending on the state of your body, they can be worth it. Like I've spent so much money on testing, but I consider it to have been worth it because I wouldn't have figured out what's going on without that in-depth. But I don't think most people need that. So I would say like that basic blood panel addressing all of those things that we just talked about. I think thyroid is a big one for people to check. And like an in-depth thyroid panel, not just what is the basic thing they just do?
The basic that they usually just test for is like TSH.
Yeah, no one cares.
Yeah, no, you need to get like all the details of your thyroid, your TSH, your T3, T4, reverse T3, like your antibodies. There's 2 different antibodies. You need to test for both of them. Make sure that your doctor knows that you need those things.
Yeah, you need to go in depth with that. But in terms of the gut tests, I think getting a comprehensive stool test is really important if you're dealing with gut issues. Check for the parasites, bacterial overgrowths, any yeast, any imbalances. I really like the Genova comprehensive stool panel I would just add on the 3-day parasite test as it's like attached to it. I think that's a really good comprehensive test. There are even more in-depth ones that are great, but that's what I generally recommend unless it's like a much more intense case. But to get the most bang out of your buck, that gives you most of what you would need to know. And I agree with this is the thing. I think that a stool test in conjunction with the food sensitivity test is very powerful for healing the gut. I think that a food sensitivity test without a stool test is useless. So when people are just hopping straight into a food sensitivity test, that's silly. Okay, you can take those foods out, but that's not going to help anything. You have to get to the root of the issue. Your body's, quote, intolerant to those foods because there's a deeper infection going on, right? So if you're just getting the food sensitivity test, that's useless without the stool test. So I think that in conjunction, they're really powerful. And if you can only get one, absolutely just get the stool test. I don't think you have to have a food sensitivity test to like work through whatever shows up on the stool test. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
That's like 100%. Like,
yeah.
I totally agree. I think top priority should always be like the basic blood panels. A lot of that stuff you can get covered by insurance, and then a stool analysis.
Exactly. And if you have the extra money and you want to go the extra mile, I would get an MRT food sensitivity test or a Cyrex Labs, the full array, but that's an extra thing. And yeah, that will help, but you can also do it without it. I mean, it also depends on how bad your situation is, you know? So that's what I would say in terms of that. In terms of hormones, I think that hormone testing is really, really useful and really powerful. And I like the Dutch hormone panel, which is actually urine analysis. And I like that one because it gives you literally everything that you would need to know. So it gives you free cortisol, the diurnal pattern, and the metabolites versus Saliva is just giving you the free cortisol and the diurnal pattern, but not your metabolites. And blood just useless. No, yeah. It's not useless.
It's
but
not
I would
useless, but you know.
much better in my opinion than blood, but I think that the Dutch adrenal or the Dutch hormone panel, which is you basically pee on these strips, that I think the Dutch hormone panel is the best of the best. And if you're going to get a hormone test, you might as well just get the one that gives you everything you need to know. It's very extensive. And it has helped me a lot. And I think that knowing the metabolites is really, really helpful. Because sometimes you can think you have low cortisol when that's not really the issue, or you think you have high cortisol and that's not really the issue because you're not seeing what your metabolite status is. So I think that I would definitely say the Dutch test is top of the line.
The Dutch test is like top of the line, and if you really can't afford that, because that one is expensive and you do find out a lot, but the one that I took is called the 205 CAR by Biohealth Labs, and I got my whole cortisol rhythm and curve, and they broke down like everything, like you were talking about the metabolites, and then I got like my DHEA, progesterone, testosterone, estrogens, and they break down the estrogen amounts as well. And that one is a little bit cheaper, I found, than the Dutch. I think the Dutch is a little bit more intense and gives you more information, but the Biohealth, the 205 CAR, is a really good starting point if you don't have a lot of money and you like don't have time to save up like for the Dutch, and you just need to like go in and test something. Because, and I think the adrenal tests they're talked about a lot, but a lot of people don't do it, and they just want to do a gut test and that's it. But I really do feel like the adrenal tests are super necessary, like in this day and age with the lifestyle that we all live, being basically stressed out all the time, because it's like we all know that we're kind of stressed out, but we're not going to do anything about it unless we see the results on paper. Like, that's how it was for me. The very first time that I took an adrenal test, I was like, yeah, I know I'm stressed out, but whatever, like I don't feel good, but whatever. And then I got my hormone test results back like 2.5 years ago, and I saw that I was just completely flatlined. Like my cortisol was non-existent. I had zero hormones, like zero production of anything. And it really hit me, and I was just like, wow, I actually need to do something about this. I need to change my lifestyle, because I have zero chance right now of ever having kids or like aging well or just being healthy at all. Like, it hit me and really propelled me forward to make some really big changes. And now I retested probably 2 years later, and my cortisol curve is great. I'm producing cortisol again in a normal fashion. My hormones are still a little low, but I've been working towards that, but they're higher than they have been. So it takes a long time to make those changes, but sometimes you have to see it on paper in order for it to really kick in. So like, don't hold back, or don't let money or finances or anything like be an excuse for you to get the results that you need to see in order for you to make the changes.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it was really powerful to see. I remember the first few like adrenal panels I did, it was just about my cortisol, and that wasn't really, I mean, I thought, okay, I know it's high, and I saw it and I was like, okay, it's high, but it does hit you harder when you see how your cortisol compares to the quote average, you know, but then having that right below that, seeing where your like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone are, and like in your head, you have to see that how those two interact, you know, it really hits you hard. You know, for me, I was like, okay, my sex hormones are in the tank, and here's my cortisol right above, and it's right in front of me what the issue is, you know?
Yeah.
So I agree. I think it's really powerful to be able to use that, and how having that in conjunction with a gut test is even more powerful.
You can get some crazy like insight and results into like why you're feeling what you're feeling just by an adrenal test and a gut test. You'll basically like, I mean, this is what happened to me. I got an adrenal test and I got a gut test, and then I went down a research rabbit hole. I researched all of that, and I was like, oh my God, this is why I feel the way that I'm feeling. And it just gave me huge insight and motivation to keep going on my journey. So,
or sometimes, I mean, I didn't even realize how stressed I was until I saw it on paper.
Oh yeah. That was exactly what happened.
Yeah. So I think that they can be really useful, but once again, it just depends on how bad your situation is, how much you're struggling, and what your financial situation is, and just make the best of whatever that is and go from there. So that's what I would suggest.
Yes.
I
don't have like a whole lot more to say about this because I'm not like, I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm not certified in being able to read labs. And I'm not certified in order to like give labs to people. So this isn't, like my forte, but Christina and I have both had experience. So we're just speaking from experience of what we know about other people and ourselves with lab testing and from our own research. But we're not like certified to give out lab tests or anything like that.
Yeah, no, we can't. We just know what we know from, reading my million own, like I used to get testing like this. Like I used to get full comprehensive, like blood tests twice a week. I was getting stool tests every other week and getting hormone panels every 2.5 weeks regularly for about a year, on top of all these other random tests. I think also if your gut is really in bad shape and you have extra money and testing for nutrient deficiencies, like I remember getting this one test that was like 40 pages of every single vitamin and nutrient and everything in my body. And it was very interesting, but that's also above and beyond. And checking my toxicity levels or checking for mercury, these are things you can go beyond, but they're not totally necessary. But yeah, just our own experiences and like what I see clients when they'll like if they want to share with me their test results. And I will also, you can order your own labs through directlabs.com.
I didn't know that until you told me that.
Yeah. And that's what I have actually a lot of clients do if they don't want to work with a practitioner. But then you're not getting that practitioners are like taught how to interpret these, so that's the value of having a practitioner who can order it for you. And sometimes they'll give you a like discount. It tends to be a little bit more expensive when you're just ordering it directly by yourself. So that's the value of working with a practitioner who knows how to interpret these and orders them themselves. So they can interpret it for you and really give you the in-depth information. But if you, for some reason, absolutely don't want to go through a practitioner and want to do it yourself, go to directlabs.com and see if your test is on there. They don't have every single test, but they have a large number. And I know for sure that the GI, the Genova comprehensive stool analysis is on there because I have a few clients who use that.
Cool. I agree. Okay. I don't have much to say more about that, but we can go on to her second question. She asked, is there a way to know what supplements I should be taking, or is it mostly trial and error? What are your thoughts on vitamins? I feel like I probably don't get enough of them in my diet right now.
Okay. So, is there a way to know which supplements you should be taking? There are a few ways. You get tested. Or you work with a practitioner who can help you figure out, what your symptoms might mean, analyze your diet. I really am not a fan of multivitamins. I think they're really ridiculous. I'm a fan of if you need to supplement with specific things, then you go in for that specific thing. Because a lot of times I find that people go in with multis and then things get out of balance because maybe you need a little of this, but not a little of that,
Or maybe you're like high in something, and if you're taking if you're already high in vitamin A and like your multivitamin has a bunch of vitamin A.
Yeah, then you're going to like OD on it.
That's like not good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also a lot of things out there, like sometimes you need certain cofactors for these like vitamins to even be put to use in your body. So you have to take that into account. And, but if you feel like, okay, my first choice though is if you feel like you're not getting enough vitamins in your diet, why don't we adjust the diet?
Oh, yeah. That was going to be exactly what I said. Adjust the diet first.
The diet should be as nutrient dense as possible and try and get as much as you can through diet alone. Like the point is not to try and just supplement with everything you don't need. The point is let's fix the diet and focus on the diet.
Mm-hmm. The diet should act as your supplementation. That's kind of the goal of nutrition, is that you're providing your body with all that it needs through food. That being said, it's kind of hard to do in this world that we live in with the depleted soils and our food not having as much minerals and vitamins as it has, and just the sheer amount of toxicity that is putting a heavy burden on our bodies every single day, we're bound to need some sort of supplementation if you're experiencing health problems. But it's key, like before you do that, to get your diet really in check and make sure that you're getting the most nutrient-dense foods that you possibly can. And I think we've kind of touched on those. Like Christina's talked about organ meats as being one of your biggest sources of vitamins, like fat-soluble vitamins as well as B vitamins. So just eating organ meats like 1 to 2 times a week, you're basically supplementing for B vitamins and like vitamin D, A, all of that. So you can do that. Making sure that you get leafy greens, like dark leafy greens in every single day is super important. Just a wide array of colors in your diet. Getting iodine-rich foods like kelp and seaweed, all of that. So that alone can make a big difference in your vitamin and mineral intake.
And you guys, use a high-quality sea salt. Use a nice pink, use some Redmond's pink salt, get your electrolytes in balance, get those minerals in check. We need a good high-quality salt in our diet as well.
That is so key. That's so overlooked.
It's so overlooked. Getting enough salt in your diet is huge, and so many people, just that little fix can make a huge difference.
And when we say high quality sea salt or high quality salt, I know that there are some people when they hear this, they're just going to go out and buy sea salt like from the store, because I did that in the beginning. But even if you're buying just like normal sea salt from the store, that's not necessarily a high quality salt and can still be treated with chemicals and be like bleached or deodorized, and basically all of the mineral content except for like sodium and maybe some calcium is left in there. If you're buying like a pink Himalayan sea salt or what is the Redmond's salt?
The red real salt, that's my favorite.
Yes, that's really good. Or like a sort of Celtic salt.
Yeah.
Those are treated with integrity and are pretty pure. Of course, most salts are still going to be like treated and filtered because like you don't want to get poisoned basically because you never know what else is in the salt, but it's not going to be like bleached or deodorized, or the mineral status isn't going to be compromised. And also not all pink Himalayan salts are the same. So the ones that you buy at the store that you see in all the big supermarkets still may not be the same as like a higher quality pink Himalayan sea salt. And to be honest, like I don't even know how to differentiate a good quality pink Himalayan sea salt between a non good quality one. So if you have it, do you know how? But I've been reading a little bit more on that, on how basically like the labeling we're being gypped with like pink Himalayan salt.
I just know what brands really smart, healthy people use, like the ones that are made by the experts. So stick to those brands.
Like the Redmond's real salt
is like what's his name? His name is really long, so I always forget it. The guy who wrote the Salt Fix.
Yeah.
That book's great. His like number one rec is the Redmond's real salt. So I'm like, all right, I trust you. You know your stuff. So
he has it. Well, that really is great salt. Like it has so many minerals in it, and I don't know, but you just have to watch out like for labeling and kind of do your research on salt. But just know that like if you're buying Morton's sea salt, like that's not, even though it says sea salt, like that is not, it's still not real. It's not real.
I don't know the name off the top of my head, but there's that, like my other favorite salt is that gray Celtic sea salt. What's the brand? It's like,
I know what you're talking about too.
I kind of want to go run it. Wait, give me 1 second.
I also know of, there's the pink Himalayan sea salt that you see at Whole Foods, and I swear it's called like Himalayan. Oh, the Celtic sea salt.
Yeah, it's Selena naturally.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I really like this one. And yeah, it's called like that one that's called like it's called pink Himalaya salt.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Pink
Wow, that one's
Himalaya.
really good.
That one's a really good quality. Just don't trust like all the stuff that you see in stores.
Yeah, definitely. I do think that most people in terms of supplements could use a high quality probiotic, but that's another one you have to be really careful about the brand. I think that a lot of people are magnesium deficient. I think that a lot of people are vitamin D deficient. But a lot of people, yeah,
Vitamin D efficient.
But you need to be taking a DK2, like a DK, like in conjunction, so that your body can utilize that vitamin D. But again, I would test levels. I think magnesium and probiotics are ones that like most people need.
That like anyone can really get away with taking and won't see any sort of negative anything really. I think that's a really good idea. But with vitamins and minerals, I really just think it's a good idea to test before you go about and guess, because I've got to be honest, I spent a lot of time and money guessing and checking with supplements, and I saw probably no benefit. And also, I did get tested for like MTHFR type mutations, and I have like one of the worst ones, basically one of the worst MTHFR, and this was like years ago that I found this out. And my naturopath told me, they're like, you need to be on a methylated B vitamin. And I was like, oh yeah, and I did all this research, but then I started taking the methylated B vitamin and I truly felt worse. I felt terrible. So a lot of it is guess and check, even when a practitioner does tell you something. But like then I started just doing a lot of guess and check on my own, and it was a complete waste of time because I didn't really know what I needed to be taking. And then I would take something for like 5 months and I would see no results, and then I would just throw it away and all of this stuff. And you're just wasting like so much time. But I had to rant about that MTHFR one because that's probably the only time that I've gone to a practitioner, gotten something tested, and then I took the supplement and it really didn't help me. It like hurt me, which was really weird. And I thought that it would work, but it didn't.
That one is really important to know, though, because I have the same mutation as well. And if you have that mutation, you need to be taking methylated B vitamin. Like, just taking regular B vitamins, like folate, is not going to work. Like, so that's important to know. But I also think that if you, like Kara said, test. If you can't test, work with somebody. Like, get in tune with your body and write down symptoms. Like, really get in touch with what you're, like, why you think you're deficient, what symptoms are you having, and work with somebody who does understand how to like what symptoms correspond with different vitamin nutrient deficiencies. You know, we learned this through the NTA. Practitioners have been taught this. So that's the best way to guess and check, I guess, like an educated guess and check.
Yep, I agree. But always start with diet first, diet and testing, because like you have to improve the diet first. You cannot out supplement a like nutrient deficient diet. So if you think that you are deficient in a certain vitamin, mineral, whatever, try and get more of it through your food. Research like ways that you can get more B vitamins or zinc or selenium or whatever through your food, and really make an effort to do that first. And then if you still feel like you're not making progress after months, then maybe it is time to work with a practitioner, or if you want to go down that self-experimentation route, go for it. Why not? But you might waste some time and money.
Our bodies were designed to get these things from food. So yeah, we'll supplement, but it's still never going to be the same thing as a whole food source.
Yep.
So, okay, should we do the last one?
Yeah, why not?
More? Okay, why do I feel so munchy when I don't work out / when it's a rest day? Is it just a low self-confidence thing, or is it more to do with how exercise suppresses appetite? This is something I've really struggled with, and I wish I could kick this habit.
Okay, so I have to like reread the question because it seemed to like contradict itself, or maybe I'm going crazy. She said, why do I feel so munchy when I don't work out? Oh, no. She said, or does it
She's
have?
hungry
Okay.
rest.
Okay. Gotcha. So you're more hungry on rest days. Your
Do
body, just basically like your body needs freaking food to repair, girl. Like,
yeah. There
that's all I
are a
gotta
few
say.
factors to this. Okay, for some people they eat way more on rest days just because they're bored. Honestly. So that's one thing to take. I think, okay, if you're hungry on a rest day, check in. Are you actually hungry or not? If you're actually hungry, this is actually totally normal. This is totally fine because now your body is resting and repairing, and it's time to rebuild, and it makes complete sense for it to be hungrier. And yes, also exercise does suppress appetite depending on what type of exercise and when you're doing it, what time of day you did it the day before. It could be catching up with you right then that you need more food. So it's normal to be more hungry. If you're not hungrier, that's fine. The thing is to honor whatever your actual hunger status is. So you're saying you wish you could kick this habit. Like, why? Is it because you're not actually hungry and you feel like you're just eating to eat? That's different than I'm actually hungry and I wish I wasn't. If you're actually hungry, your body wants food because it's trying to rebuild and repair.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if you're actually hungry, then this is totally normal and you should like eat, basically, because your body definitely needs it. I'm just trying to more like kind of break down the wording of the things that you're saying. So you asked, like, is this just a low self-confidence thing? And I'm trying to figure out for you, are you self-conscious, like, about eating more?
Yeah.
Just think about that a little bit. Like, are you uncomfortable with being more hungry? Does that make you feel uncomfortable? Do you feel like you need to be earning your food? Like you need to be working out in order to earn more food? And that's like making you feel like munchy and uncomfortable, and you just want to like snack and like pick at things because maybe there is a low self-confidence thing with, I mean, I don't know you. I don't know a lot about you, but this is what I picked up on just off of the question alone. But maybe there is a low self-confidence thing about just being uncomfortable with eating more food. And yes, the exercise suppressing the appetite is totally a thing, and your appetite probably is more suppressed on the days that you work out. So you eat quote unquote normal amounts of food and you don't feel as munchy, but you're also probably more satisfied with yourself because you felt like you earned it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you earned the food, and now you're uncomfortable on days where you don't work out and you want to snack on things and you feel more hungry and you're like, why can't I just be normal like the days that I do work out? And you're struggling with that. So I would look at that a little bit more and just know that you don't have to earn your food. I hope no one has ever told you that, but you don't have to earn anything that you eat physically with physical actions or working out. You can eat as much as you want if you're hungry. So just know that. And if it does make sense in your mind to earn your food, then like know that you already did earn it. Like you worked out X amount of days during the week. Like go ahead and freaking eat because your body needs to recover anyways. Don't like punish yourself on a day by day basis based on when you do or didn't work out. So that's just something I would kind of work on there.
Yeah, your body has to have food whether or not you're working out. Like your body needs food to function, your brain needs food to work, your organs need nutrients, everything needs food. So you don't have to work out to eat more, and it's totally normal to feel like you're eating more on rest days if you feel like that. Maybe you don't. I know we've talked about this before. Like I eat way more food on rest days than I do. Yeah, than I do usually when I work out. Sometimes not, but So, I mean, I notice it, but my body needs that fuel. And that's, if you don't give your body that fuel that it's asking for, and it's asking for it by, affecting your hunger signals, then your body can't repair and grow and get better and stronger, So if you're looking to optimize your performance and feel your best, you have to give your body the fuel it needs to do so. So Yeah, and I think that really looking at why it's making you uncomfortable that you're eating more. If you feel like you're just eating, if you feel like you're not actually hungry and you're just eating more just to eat, that that could happen too, because usually on days when you're not working out, that's however long you spend at the gym, that's extra time in the day you're not doing anything. Replace that time with doing something else productive where you're not. Don't just replace it with eating for no reason. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I think
that makes sense.
Sometimes people do just eat for no reason. And that's a different situation than if your body's hungry and you're mad at yourself.
I totally do that sometimes, like when I'm bored. So
exactly.
I get it.
Bored. Like that is a common thing. That's because we have so much food nowadays, right? We live in a different world than our ancestors did. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And I mean, even, Dr. Lyon explained this when she was on the podcast. She, like, on days when you're not exercising, you need even more protein.
Mm-hmm.
So
that will even help with your satiety as well. So you'll feel more full and like less munchy as a result by feeding yourself more protein on your rest days.
Exactly. Like you can get away with less food for satiety on days when you're exercising just because of the appetite suppressing effects. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's just multiple factors going into this, and I think the best way to really start is like on your non-rest days, whenever you start to feel munchy or snacky or whatever, ask yourself if you're actually physically hungry or if this is like a mental type of hunger, and figure that out. If you are physically hungry, then I would definitely eat and know that there is some sort of like mental piece going on and you may be a little bit uncomfortable with eating more. So you can do that. And then also another good way to know is, so after your rest day, a good way to know for me personally that has worked for me is if I've eaten enough is how I perform the next day off of my rest day, because I've definitely had rest days where I did not eat enough and it was just on sheer like time. I was running around all day and I didn't eat enough. And then I went to the gym and I worked out the next day and I felt like weak and I couldn't perform. But then I've had rest days where I totally fueled my body the way I needed to. I wasn't hungry. I just ate whatever, and I felt great performing at the next day. I felt better than I did the previous day. So you can test it out that way too, and just see how you feel. And if you feel like crap in your next workout, or you feel a little bit weaker or not very good, then maybe you're not eating enough on your rest days.
I think that's a really good point. Is looking at your rest day food as your fuel for your next workout. So the way you feel yourself is going to determine how your performance is the next time. And I mean, I think that like Kara, I feel like you're judging yourself in this question. Like that's what I'm feeling like. I feel a sense of judgment and I'm wondering where that's coming from. And if you're comparing what you're eating to what other people are eating or what you're eating? But like, we need to get to a place where we can remove ourselves from this space of judgment on our body's hunger signals. Like, why are we judging our bodies for being hungry? Like that's why they're there, to tell us when they need fuel.
Exactly. Exactly. So, even if you physically are hungry and munchy like throughout the day, who's to say that that's wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you are physically hungry like every couple of hours, like that's still not wrong.
Yeah, this is the thing, you guys. It's very normal. Okay, it's easy for us nowadays to eat basically the same amount every single day. Like we could just regulate our food like that, especially because so many of us are out of touch with our hunger signals. But the way we weren't designed to have the exact same caloric intake every single day, whether or not you're working out. When you think about how our ancestors, lived their lives, some days they were eating thousands of calories, some days way few. Like it went all over the place. So it's okay if some days you're eating way more than others, regardless of the workouts. It's like, I think it's much healthier in terms of our metabolism for metabolic flexibility to be eating different macronutrient ratios and different caloric intakes day to day, just always switching it up. Like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to be stuck in one situation.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. We've talked about this like many times on the podcast, and like metabolic flexibility, I feel like is one of our personal ultimate goals, like you and me, because we want to be able to like, I don't know, if something comes up, we want to be able to maybe not eat as much if we like go out, or be able to eat more carbs at one meal or less carbs and more fat at another, or eat a lot on one day and then not on the next. Like, just be able to go with the flow of things and not feel like crap while doing it, but at the same time, like maintaining a balance of nourishing and fueling your body the way it needs to be. So you don't need to focus on like this perfect set of food that you need to be eating every single day.
And that's why, like, I think for us, like, the vegan day experiments that we are doing, and for me, like, this fast have been really interesting learning lessons. And I feel like I've been, like, proud of myself because I feel like I'm pretty metabolically flexible, much more so than I thought I would be, considering my history of hormonal issues, right?
Like, you literally couldn't even eat a carb when we first started talking.
Exactly. And I feel like I've come so far, you know, like, so it's very, and like with the fast, it was like, that wasn't hard. And I could have gone longer, you know? So that to me makes me feel like good that I'm getting there, you know? And I was just telling you right now, I feel like I'm doing so much better with carbs, you know, like switching it up. Some days we have them, some days we don't. Getting more comfortable just throwing in meatless meals. Sometimes eating a whole chicken at one meal, you know, like just all over the place. I just think it's really important to be flexible in that way.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, just some random things to think about for those questions. And all those questions came from the same person. And those were great questions though.
Yeah. Great questions, Carson. Awesome. So thanks for sending them in. If you guys have more questions, send them in to straightuppaleo@gmail.com or the website straightuppaleo.com. You can submit them there. We'll continue to answer all of your fabulous preguntas.
Yep, and just remember to go join our Facebook group, Straight Up Paleo Pals. It seems to grow like every single day, and we get to meet new amazing people in that group, and it's become a really cool community where women and men can ask questions and hear answers from like, I don't know, other peers who've had experiences like them. So it's just another cool place to join and talk to like-minded people like you. So you can get on Facebook and join us there, Straight Up Paleo Pals.
Fabulous. Well, thanks again for joining us this week. We hope you enjoyed it. And we will talk to you again next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.